Welcome back to the channel, where we dive into the most shocking and mind-bending films ever made. The story begins with a bus full of high school girls traveling through a quiet highway surrounded by trees. The girls are chatting, laughing, and enjoying the ride like any normal school trip. But one girl, Mitsuko, sits quietly near the window, writing in her notebook. Her friends tease her for being too serious. They grab her notebook and playfully mess around. When Mitsuko bends to pick up her fallen pen, something terrifying happens. A sudden, invisible force slices through the bus like a blade. Within seconds, chaos erupts. Mitsuko lifts her head and realizes her classmates have been brutally torn apart. A second gust rushes forward, and instinctively she ducks just in time. Shaken and drenched in blood, Mitsuko stumbles out of the bus, realizing she might be the only survivor. But the nightmare has just begun. Running along the highway, she sees the bodies of her classmates, all sliced in half. Ahead, a small group of girls appear. Mitsuko screams at them to duck. She saves one of them by tackling her down, but the others are instantly cut down by the invisible wind. Panic takes over. She runs into the forest, desperate to escape. Along a riverbank, she sees dozens more dead schoolgirls, victims of the same mysterious force. To hide her bloodied uniform, she changes into the clean clothes of one of the fallen girls. Hours later, she wanders into a completely different world, a seemingly normal all-girls high school. Here, nobody seems to know about the massacre. The students greet Mitsuko by name, as if she belongs. One girl, Aki, runs up and hugs her, claiming they've been classmates all along. Mitsuko, still traumatized, is too stunned to argue. The wind blows again through the courtyard, but this time it feels like nothing more than a breeze. Everyone laughs. Mitsuko starts to wonder if she imagined everything. But soon she confides in Aki about what she saw: the buses, the deaths, the wind. Aki comforts her, trying to convince her it was just a nightmare. The two, along with their friends, skip class and spend the day by a river. Here, one girl brings up the idea of parallel worlds, where every choice creates a new reality. She explains that maybe Mitsuko's nightmare came from another version of the world. Mitsuko listens carefully. For the first time, she feels a strange hope. Maybe there is a way to outsmart fate. Back at school, everything seems normal until Mitsuko notices a pillow on the floor and bends down to pick it up. At that exact moment, her teacher pulls out a machine gun and opens fire on the class. Students scream and fall instantly. Mitsuko survives only because she ducked. She flees as teachers across the school massacre their students with guns. One by one, her friends die trying to protect her. The carnage spreads through the halls like a nightmare on repeat. Terrified and alone, Mitsuko escapes again, only to find herself in yet another world. This time, Mitsuko looks in a mirror and sees a completely different reflection. She is no longer a schoolgirl. She is now a bride named Keiko. Dragged into a wedding ceremony, she is forced into a gown and pushed down the aisle. But instead of a groom, a coffin opens, revealing a monstrous man with the head of a pig. The guests cheer wildly, stripping their clothes in celebration. Horrified, Mitsuko stabs the creature with a broken shard of glass, triggering another violent escape. She and Aki flee once more, fighting off relentless attackers. Without warning, Mitsuko finds herself transformed again, this time into a girl named Izumi, preparing for a marathon. Crowds cheer her on as if she's a champion runner. She begins to run, and for a brief moment, she feels peace. Her friends, alive again, run beside her. But it doesn't last. The pig-headed groom and armed pursuers crash the race, turning it into yet another bloody massacre. Her friends urge her to escape, leading her into a cave where the horrifying truth is revealed. Aki explains that none of these realities are real. Mitsuko, Keiko, Izumi, all of them are characters trapped in a simulation, designed for entertainment. Men in the real world play and watch this cruel game, laughing as the girls are hunted, tortured, and killed over and over. Mitsuko is the main character, doomed to die repeatedly for the audience's amusement. But Aki tells her there is one way out. She must break the cycle by doing something completely unpredictable. Mitsuko awakens in the real world, or at least what looks like it. She finds herself in a city filled only with men, all obsessed with a brutal video game, her life. Screens replay her suffering for entertainment. Finally, she meets the mastermind, an old man who reveals that decades ago he used DNA to recreate Mitsuko and her friends inside the game. Everything has been for his twisted fantasy. When he tries to force her into his final dream, Mitsuko remembers the words from earlier. To beat fate, you must do the impossible. Instead of playing along, she rebels. She kills the fantasy version of him, then turns the weapon on herself. By ending her own life on her own terms, she destroys the game completely. The simulation collapses. Mitsuko is freed. For the first time, she awakens in a quiet, snowy world with no scripts, no audience, and no one controlling her. Alone, she walks across the white field, finally at peace. Because this time, her life is her own.